We have special coverage tonight. I want to welcome our kickoff panel here. Aaron Haynes is editor-at-large for The 19th, a newsroom dedicated to reporting on the intersection of gender politics and policy. Our friend Juanita Tolliver, national political director for Supermajority, which focuses on growing political opportunities for women. And The Root's Danielle Belton. Good evening to each of you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ari. Big night.
Well, let's get into it. I'm joined momentarily by reporting from the field by Kristen Welker. I wanted to get, though, a first reaction, a kind of a lightning round here. In a word or a sentence, your reaction to Joe Biden picking Kamala Harris. Aaron?
You said it in your intro, Ari. Historic.
Danielle?
I personally feel seen. Black women are the Democrats' most loyal base, full stop. So thank you for seeing me.
Juanita?
She has arrived. Finally.
There you go. Each of those points I'm going to ask you to build on because this is our big political panel to kick off the show. But hang with me while we bring in NBC's Kristen Welker, who has been busily reporting on this story, breaking news on this story, being the intrepid journalist that she is on literally more than one beat because we can see you at the White House. Kristen, walk us through how this came about today and your thoughts tonight.
Well, Ari, this cannot be overstated. This is an historic moment. Senator Kamala Harris becoming the first African-American woman to be on a presidential ticket, only the third woman ever to be chosen for a running mate. And so this carries huge significance from an historical perspective. How did we get here? Well, there was always a sense inside Biden world that Senator Kamala Harris was someone who checked all of the boxes, that she's someone who served as a former prosecutor, attorney general of California, then went on to become a senator, someone who became a presidential candidate herself during the primary. She, of course, dropped out and then went on to almost immediately throw her support behind Biden. Now, in terms of the deliberations, there was some concern about that first debate. We all remember when she forcefully attacked Joe Biden. Some of Biden's closest allies raised the question, would she be someone who could be trusted not only on the campaign trail, but if, in fact, they do win the White House? And I am told in talking to those close to this process that Harris made it very clear once she dropped out that she was supporting Biden and that he could trust her. And she knew how important it was to convey that message moving forward. Now, we know that Biden really underwent a very deliberative process. He considered a range of different options, which also included former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice, someone with whom I am told, Ari, he has a very close relationship, as well as Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, someone with whom he has a good relationship, I am told, and who clearly would help him carry a critical battleground state. But ultimately, he went with Senator Harris because he feels as though she will be strong, not only on the campaign trail, but also on the debate stage, facing off against Vice President Mike Pence. And again, if the two are, in fact, to win the White House. Now, there was huge momentum and pressure on Biden to pick someone who is African-American, not only because of the protests nationwide that have been calling for racial change, but also because so many in this country see this moment as an inflection point. And they see Senator Kamala Harris as someone who is representative of that. Former President Obama already weighing in, saying that Biden nailed this decision, casting this is really the first important decision that a president makes. For his part, President Trump is speaking right now, Ari, and I can tell you he's taken aim at this decision to pick Harris, essentially trying to cast her as a phony, but also someone who's a part of the radical left agenda. So a little bit of a preview of what you can anticipate we will see heading into the fall. But it is worth noting that President Trump has really struggled to put Kamala Harris in a box to define her. The question becomes, will he have any more success now that she is officially in this race? Sorry.
Kristen Welker at the White House, thank you as always. Bringing back in our panel here amidst that reporting, Juanita, your thoughts on what this means for the ticket?
I think this means a lot of energy and excitement for the ticket. In fact, Supermajority recently conducted focus groups and qual boards with young women of color voters in key states. And a lot of them were hinging their decision of whether to not vote in this election cycle on Biden's VP selection. They wanted a VP who was a woman of color. They wanted someone who would hold Biden accountable, call out his blind spots, and push him. And that's exactly what Kamala Harris has done on the campaign trail. That's what she's done as a senator, and that's what she'll continue to do behind closed doors as Biden's teammate. So this is going to bring a lot of voter enthusiasm. As a Black woman, I'm hype. As a political operative, I'm hype. And I think this is going to yield some strong results for the Democrats.
Hyped. Danielle?
I got to say, 94% of Black women voted, for Hillary Clinton, like 94%. Black women are what put Joe Biden over the top in his race to get the nomination in the first place. So the fact that he picked Kamala Harris to me is the smartest decision he could possibly make if he wanted to continue to have the support of that base. I like Harris as a VP pick overall. Like, she's a senator with a sharp legal mind, a sharper tongue. She's going to destroy Pence in the debates if he can get permission from his wife to participate. So I'm super excited about all of this.
Your reference to Pence being he has certain rules about who he appears with?
Just a little bit, from what I've been told.
Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is, again, the historic nature of this cannot be understated. There's never been a woman president, sure, but there's never been a woman vice president, and there's never been a Black woman nominated for vice president. And so, I think that the Black women that I have been talking to over the past year and a half have been excited about, they were excited about the prospect of Senator Harris when she entered the race last year. A lot of them were making kind of a head or heart decision last year when they were considering her, which ultimately I think forced her out of the race. I mean, issues of race and gender kind of dogged her campaign throughout, but in the end, race and gender really did prove to be among her greatest assets. And we know that the role of the vice president has taken on an outsized significance in this election cycle, in what many of us see as the most consequential election that we will ever cover of our time. And with that said, this was more than just symbolic for Black women in particular. They saw this as a signal that Joe Biden values them, not just for their output, but for their input. And it's the kind of thing that's not just going to get them out to the polls, but that is going to get them to take their sorority, their church, their family and friends in November.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.